Welcome back, everybody,
Hey,
to the
right.
Taco Boys podcast.
Hey,
This
welcome back to
is
Church
Jonathan
Stories.
Taco Boy
We're gonna talk
1.
over our intro
We're gonna talk
while we
about
talk.
I love our intro, dude.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's so good
you
to
and your
see
dad,
Christian.
you and your dad really killed
It's
this.
pretty good.
It's me. I'm so glad to be back.
It's really good to be here, man.
What?
Yeah.
This is so
I
good.
feel like
I feel like we're finally getting to do a
feedback or
podcast
something.
together, you and me.
I feel
and
like you sound different,
I'm very
Jonathan.
excited about introducing our guests.
Christian, I
Probably
feel like,
given, like, several people
what is going
aneurysms,
on?
but-
Should
Yeah,
we
people are
introduce
gonna
our
be like,
guests,
wait a
though,
second.
that we have?
Hold on, us. Do you want to
Do we
introduce our
have
guests?
guests
We
today?
have to
Yeah,
introduce
we
our
gotta do
guests.
that.
Yeah,
we
wait
have
a
guests
second. We got.
today, so we
Yeah,
can
so we
I
introduce
don't know
have,
what's going on, but
so,
it
do you
seems
wanna
like
tell
we
them about the guests?
picked up on
Yeah,
some sort of
our
trucker
guests,
frequency.
we have Jonathan
think so.
Wright.
Yeah, we do.
and
okay, well,
Christian,
Christian,
both
let me
of
tell you
them
about our
are,
guests.
and we're
Our
really
guests
are part
are
of the
Petey
Taco Boys
and
podcast.
Shama
I
from
think we
the
have
Church
Shama.
Stories
and,
podcast.
yeah, they know me
Yes.
from being. He's been on the.
That might have been the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life.
That.
trying to
Yeah.
determine who's talking. And I'm like, I guess I talk now, and they talk. We talk over each other.
I literally at one point just like I heard myself say, "Oh, let me introduce the guests," and then Christian, I heard you say, "Let me introduce our guests," and I was like, "Oh, wait,
We also
is it
said
okay
it
that I
at
said
the
that?"
same time.
Yeah,
Yes, that was what was the amazing part.
yeah.
We somehow timed it really well. Also, I kept hearing the Church Stories theme in my head, and I was like, "Oh, I didn't bring our theme song."
In your head, they were
Yeah.
playing it.
We were playing it.
There it is.
No, Jonathan just imagined it playing.
We were.
Yeah.
We had y'all's theme. We had y'all's theme playing the whole. Our theme playing the whole time.
Jonathan imagined it so
I
hard
was
that
like,
we
you
heard
had
it.
our theme? I've got these new headphones and they make my head vibrate really violently.
Yeah.
So whenever
What?
I'm thinking, I think it sends it through the board to everybody else.
Yes.
What
But
the
it is a little painful.
Hey,
They're
this is
Audio
good.
Technica.
So how do we want to do this, guys? Maybe this was maybe an off-air podcast,
Yeah.
off-air discussion, but let's just do it.
Well, hey, I'll start and just say that the way this podcast came about is we did a little fan contest, and we're like, hey, write in some letters about why you're the biggest fan of Petey and Shama. And then these were the two winners. We have Jonathan Wright
We did
and Christian.
Wow.
And we're very excited to
and-
have our biggest. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so would you read the letter?
Yeah. Well, Christian, did I remember to tell you that the reason we're doing this podcast is we got a Make-A-Wish Foundation email.
Oh gosh, they outbidded us. They got the better bid.
So this is all very confusing.
We're just two kids, and we're like, our dying wishes to talk to two middle-aged white guys who have a podcast.
Wait,
That's
middle-aged?
Two 40-year-old white
I want
guys.
to talk to two 40-year-old white guys who have a podcast, please.
How old am I?
I know we can do anything and go
Christian, you're
anywhere.
40.
We can even meet a famous celebrity, but us, the Taco Boys,
Yeah.
are our celebrities.
My
please.
Make-A-Wish was I wanted to be served tacos by the Taco Boys on my deathbed.
And then die in front of them. Immediately, just
We're waiting. There it is. There he went.
We just
Off to
scat you
glory.
out as you die. We're like, ba 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 doo ba da ba doo ba doo ba.
that's my
Exit
Make-A-Wish. My
stage
Make-A-Wish is
right.
to be fed tacos by the Taco Boys. And then
Right.
after I take the last bite, after the swallow, they both pull the plug.
Well, hey, I mean,
Both of them together. They put their hands on the plug
Wait,
like
which one
a
would pull
newly
it?
married couple with cutting the
Yeah.
cake, and they pull it together.
which Taco Boy's
That's right.
pulling it?
These Taco Boys.
No, I mean, like, are they going to pull it both of them at the
yeah,
same
at the
time?
same time. You know how couples, when they're at weddings, will do the
Yeah.
cake
Oh,
cutting?
okay, yeah.
They do it together.
Yes.
They go, wish granted, and then they tug it.
Christian, on my
Did they
count,
say
we pull
that
it
on
too.
Make-A-Wish Foundation?
No.
They always say, wish granted.
John Cena, after he spends 5 minutes with a child, your wish has been
Granted.
granted. And then he
Granted.
like, goes poof.
Suplexes the child, and then he leaves.
Suplexes
He dives off the top rope onto the child, then he goes, wish granted in midair. Pound. The kid
Oh my
dies. No, I'm
gosh.
just kidding. This is
And
dark.
John Cena doesn't usually go to the top ropes. That's a big
No,
deal
that's
that
a
you would
big- that's a
bust
big
that
deal.
out for the kid.
He
I don't
busted
even
it
know how
out
you
for the
know
wishes.
he was up there. How would you see him? You
a
just
good
point.
hear
That's true.
wish granted, and then you die.
But what it,
I actually filmed a Make-A-Wish for a girl, and no,
Really?
they did not say.
What?
Yeah, I helped film it. Yeah, when I worked
Oh.
at a production company.
Wow.
Yeah, nobody said wish granted,
thought
so it's
you were
kind of a
saying that-
failure.
I thought at first you were saying, Shama, that you filmed a Make-A-Wish.
Oh,
Yeah,
like
that's
no,
what I
no,
thought,
like
too.
I was the wish. No, please, please. I know
you
you.
know what?
I'm not at that
That's
level
what I'm
of
gonna say
celebrity.
if I ever.
you don't think there's some kid
I-
who's like horribly sick and he just wants you to come sing
Is
sneeze
if I
on the
could,
beat?
if I can only
Or-
meet the VeggieTales guy. No, you take a double glance at me at the grocery store. That's how famous I am. You look at me and you're like, dude, is that? No, he's not getting bananas. I'm gonna leave.
Yeah.
And then you leave me be, or you ask me.
All
you're
I,
like, Did you
all
make
I
the
know
thing?
is that I was very happy that you said I was not the wish, because I feel like the moment that I ever get like a Make-A-Wish thing where they email me, I'm just gonna stand up and be like, I'm the wish now.
I don't know why he's wearing a cape and holding a staff. This is kind of ridiculous. He's backlit. There's smoke coming from under him. What is happening?
I'm gonna walk in and go,
Whoa.
you wished for this?
Dude, Christian, here's the
Yes,
deal.
I can hear you.
If I ever become a Make-A-Wish dream, I need to hire your dad due to his magic skills
Of course,
to make
obviously.
me way
Of course.
better.
Oh my gosh.
Christian's
every
dad is a
time.
magician, by
Oh,
the
he
way,
is.
if you did not know this.
Hey,
Yes.
this is good. Hey, well, we're gonna get
Yes.
to know you guys. This is super cool. We
Yeah, it's been 6 minutes of
Let's-
riffing about Make-A-Wish.
Hey, that's
So-
solid 6 minutes. This is quality content. 6 minutes. So
Let's go ahead and drop off.
you know,
this thing.
this is PD and Shama.
Yes.
You know us from stuff, and you're listening to this. You know us from things.
Yes.
Hey, well, why don't we treat this like it's a classroom and go around the room
Ooh.
with a fun fact?
Ooh, okay. Okay. Let's. Where do you want to start,
How
teacher?
about we start with you, Shama?
My name is Shama, and I had pea soup for lunch. PEA soup for lunch, and it was really
Oh,
good.
thank you for spelling it. I got concerned there for a moment.
I feel like
and I'm 5.
somebody
so.
would have asked.
Yeah.
That's me.
Is your suit made of pea?
My name is PD, and I got very startled last night. I'll tell the story. So I was in the kitchen at about 2 a.m., and it's completely dark in there. And I was totally zoned out. The only thing that existed to me in that moment was my Chick-fil-A mac and cheese. So I was just eating it, apparently very loudly. And then I got a tap on the shoulder, and then proceed to jump, and then almost drop it,
Oh.
but then catch it. Just to have my sister be like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "All I heard was."
Oh, you're like, it's just me. It's just me living my life in the dark.
Yep, that's it.
We'll continue
Well-
going around the room.
That's right.
My name is Jonathan, and I have been addicted to eating snipe. What if I just stop there? I've been addicted to eating. Anyway, Christian, what's your fun fact? We'll just stop it there. Christian, go ahead. I've been addicted to eating.
Yeah, that's Hi, my name is Christian, and my dad is a magician.
Wow. We just hear poof. Where'd he go? Where'd he go? Where'd he? Oh my gosh.
That's what happened on our like semi-normal episode last week where
Yeah.
Christian wasn't even there. Was he had just disappeared, but his voice was hovering around,
Yeah.
so I recorded.
Hey,
That's right.
that was perfect. Taco libs. I like that. For a second, when I read the title, I was like, man, I thought they were on our team. They've gone liberal. And then I was wrong. I listened. And when I said our team, I meant no team because we don't have one.
Taco
Gotcha.
Republicans versus Taco Liberals.
Oh my gosh.
Surprise.
It's like we swing either way, you know. It just kind of ends
Like,
up
wait a
that we are,
second.
you know, the taco conservative sometimes.
taco conservative.
Maybe he meant libertarian.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hey, well, this has been
Oh.
good. We've Jonathan, we loved having you on our show. The one about Steak Plus.
thank you.
And Christian, we love having you on the show now and being on your show simultaneously.
For Jonathan, it's not
Yeah,
just
thank
Steak Plus.
you.
Jonathan is the Steve Martin of Church Stories.
Yes.
Oh wow.
He's been if this was Johnny Carson, he's been invited to the couch plenty of times.
Yes, he's the most appearances in Church Stories
Most
history
appearances. Yeah.
from Jonathan Wright.
Is that
So
right?
Shout out.
Is that really still a thing?
Yeah, that is.
I did it.
You did it.
did
Well,
it.
that was my Make-A-Wish.
Wish granted.
Y'all just didn't know it. Yeah. It's me. Oh, now with Christian, since he's my co-host and I'm his co-host, since I have been on your podcast, that means that there's been like a Half Taco Boys crossover.
Yeah, there has been.
So now does this mean that we have 1.5 crossovers done? Wait, no, I've been on your show twice
You've been on more than
before
twice.
this.
You
3 times.
You've been on 4 times. Actually,
This is
the 5th time.
What?
Yes, this is the 5th time you've been
No
on the
way.
This is the podcast cinematic universe is it's expanding.
I gotta get better hobbies.
show. We did the podcast about Kanye, then we did the 2 awards shows,
Yes.
and we had the one about Steak Plus.
Yes.
So this is number 5.
You're right.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Number 5.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do it any longer without Christian here.
Hey.
I couldn't take it.
And this is good. We're super excited about doing this.
Yeah, you had to bring
It's
a
been
friend
really
because
good.
you were uncomfortable.
That's right.
That's most of the time how I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like when my crackhead boss, he invited me to come to the restaurant for a guitar lesson, and I was like,
Wow.
okay, sure, I'll bring a person with me though.
A person, not just a friend, some random person.
That's
You grab
that's
him off the
trust.
street.
That's
You're
trust.
coming with me.
Oh man. Yeah, I feel like I've like tried to hang out with a girl before, like go on a date, and she was like, "Oh, awesome, I'll bring my friend with me." And then there's like this weird where you're like, "So aren't we? Who?"
That's a no. I think.
Yeah, I think that's
a
a no.
Yeah,
maybe.
it's definitely
Yeah,
a
it's a no. I ended up turning that negative into a positive though, because the relationship didn't last. So I feel like if relationship didn't last, any positive just turns into a negative. So it was
I
a
thought you were
negative,
gonna
positive,
say-
and then negative.
It turned out good because the friend you got with the friend.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
I was
That's a
like,
negative,
perfect.
positive, double positive.
Heck
Does
yes.
that mean it's a negative? I don't know.
Hold on.
Is that a math
I don't know. It's
equation?
I'm playing 4D. I was playing. If that happened, that's 4D chess. That's 5D. I don't even know. Is there 5?
That's
Is there
next level.
Are there
chess.
5
dimensions?
Are there 5 dimensions?
Have we? I feel like we're kind of creating a new dimension by doing this crossover, because this is a very, like, Christian and I, we were talking about, this is a very different experience.
Yeah.
Because it's like both of our episode, like, what's
Yeah.
going on?
I feel like I feel like we need to do an intro for the intro, but I've also like I've thought about it here, and I'm like, no, somebody needs to press play, be like, oh, I can't wait to listen, and their ears just need to bleed for like the first 50 seconds, and then they enjoy the rest of the podcast.
That's right. And then they question whether or not they're on Make-A-Wish. Like, am I the Make-A-Wish child?
Did I wish this podcast into existence?
And to answer your question, yes, you did, Carl. See, my thing is, if there's a guy named Carl right now who had a Make-A-Wish for
He's
this,
like, wait
then we
a
just
minute.
blew his mind.
Yeah.
I should have chosen a more generic name
Hey, John.
than Carl.
If John
Yeah,
Smith
John.
is listening to this,
If you're listening,
That's right.
so hey, here's a
Which
fun.
you are. We know you are, John.
So people think my last name is Marema. I don't think I've ever said this on the show, but people think that my name is very unique. But my name in Tanzania, Marema, is like the equivalent of a Smith. Like there are so many Maremas. It's not even funny. Like, yeah, so that's just a fun fact about
Congrats.
me. My name is unique until you hop the pond. And then people are like, oh, he's just a Marema. Sorry.
Hop the pond is such a
Yeah.
good saying.
Hop the pond, that's what
It
us
makes it-
travelers.
yeah.
Us travelers. Christian, you've never done traveling in your life.
Never
You hear
hopped
that?
a pond.
Not at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, we're here with Shama Justa Marema.
I shouldn't have said that.
Ooh, what a nice
I
name.
pulled the curtain. I pulled the curtain back a little too much. Now people are gonna know he's not unique.
Now I'm just disappointed by you. That's all there's
So-
left in
Oh,
me.
gosh.
I think. How are we gonna do this, guys? Like, we really need to.
We're 16
Are
minutes
we
into the
gonna give
podcast.
people some tacos and some church stories? Like, how do you? What do you offer? What do you provide? We know what we provide. Like, what are you? How are we gonna do this? How are we
Here,
gonna ear
Christian-
tacos and church taco podcast stories?
Christian, why don't you take it from here, telling them what we do?
What we do?
I just yeah, what me and you on the podcast. Why don't you give them, since it's so concise
We
all
don't
the
even.
time.
Hey, look, we're ready.
We're ready to.
Oh, okay. So now I can go.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
allowed now.
Well,
Yes.
I was thinking, what have we ever actually had tacos at church? And like, if not, why don't we have tacos at church? Like, it always seems to be
Huh.
spaghetti dinners or whatever.
Yes.
I feel like those are the typical go-to meals, and I'm like, isn't tacos really easy to make
Well, let me-
and delicious?
Let me ask
Oh, go
this:
ahead.
when was the last
Please.
time you ate at church?
Not in the past 2 months.
Does it count if I work there? Because I ate a
That's
peanut
true.
Yeah, that
butter
doesn't count.
burrito.
I'm
today.
talking.
Okay.
I'm talking long tables in the fellowship hall with that annoying plastic white cover. You know what I'm talking about. I'm talking pink lemonade and sweet tea.
Oh,
I feel like that's
man.
universal. Publix or buy low fried chicken, whatever y'all do. I don't know where y'all are. Where's Chris? Where do you live,
It's
Christian?
Food Lion.
Yeah, Food Line.
Well, I
Food
live
Line
in
fried chicken.
Lynchburg now,
Okay.
but I used to live in Danville, and so there, I mean, the last church that I was at that did something like that was the old Tabernacle. you know,
Oh boy.
'cause that's the only place the Lord is at.
Oh, hey,
Wait, you mean
The
the
tab.
the venue in Atlanta, or
the
Yeah,
tabernacle.
exactly.
I
No,
feel
we
like-
mean the actual
Oh,
tent in
tabernacle.
Israel.
Wow.
wait,
We
did Dave
flew there
Chappelle?
Y'all
every
fly
Sunday.
there every Sunday.
Did
Like,
Dave
I go-
Chappelle
Yes,
do like 14 dates there too?
Dave-
yes, he did.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. Which the tabernacle, that was actually where Christian and I we like met at the tabernacle in
Okay.
Danville, Virginia. I did want to clarify it's not the real one.
Yeah,
Oh.
what
But-
is the origin story?
What is the origin story of the tabernacle? Well,
you
the
guys.
Of you
Israelites,
guys.
they were
Of the Taco Boys friendship.
In 1929, they broke ground and guys, please.
Lamar
This
Mooneyham.
is the tabernacle documentary. I'm like, please, guys, please.
It turns into that like BuzzFeed Unsolved
Yeah.
podcast where it's
Oh
just
my
like
gosh.
mysterious and we're
Come
like
on.
researching. So Christian, why don't you take it? Because I feel like you remember like how I got there better than I do because it was more on your side. You know
Well,
what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Jonathan and I knew each other. I mean, they went to the tabernacle, his family, when we were like wee tots, like little kids in kindergarten.
Nice use of
And
wee
then-
tots.
Yeah, thank you. And then Jonathan's father got the call to go serve at another church. And so he went and pastored at another church for a good while till we were about, I would say, were we like 12 or 13?
Yeah,
It's
it
like,
had-
I can't
had to be
remember what
something
age
like
we
that.
were. And then I remember, I don't know if I saw Jonathan on Facebook posting videos again or what exactly happened, but I reached out to him because I was like, dude, we need to hang out. It looks like we have similar interests. And then I think one day he came to my birthday party and then we hung out there. And then the next like week or so, I was like, dude, you should come play acoustic bass for the praise team at church.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. So the acoustic bass thing, I feel like this is a Taco Boys and a Church Stories interest moment.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yes.
So
No.
basically there was in the youth group, there was a worship team as all youth groups had mid 2000s to like the past couple of years ago. But anyway, there was obviously no acoustic bass player there. And so it ended up that Christian used that because I had an acoustic bass. He was like, Jonathan, what if you come and just fill the void of no acoustic bass? And thus I ended up attending the Tabernacle Youth Group and the Taco Boys.
What is an acoustic
were
bass?
born.
Am I dumb?
What?
It's just
Well,
an
I'm glad you asked.
It's like an acoustic guitar, but bass.
Really?
Yeah, it's a big old bass guitar. Like dude, it's massive. I'm looking at it right now across from me, and it is like a regular bass guitar except with like an acoustic guitar body that is twice the size of a regular acoustic guitar.
Basically, yeah.
And the neck is just miles long.
They sound anywhere from bad to decent. So sometimes.
Yeah, it's like,
I feel like I feel so. I'm like, why have I never known that an acoustic bass was a thing ever? Like, why am I just now learning
the Tabernacle
about
Youth
this now?
Group didn't know about it either.
They didn't. But you were like, hey, I slap a acoustic bass. Is it harder to play than a regular bass since you've got to like create like more sound?
That's exactly what Jonathan said. I slap it.
You slap you slap the bass.
15-year-old Jonathan walked up to Christian and Christian said, "Do you have a bass?" And I went, "I slap at the bass." And then we just went on from there.
Yeah, great friendships. That's how great friendships.
But yeah,
form.
we ended up hanging out a ton. And Christian mentioned it earlier. I always made a ton of like random videos, and Christian did too. And we, when you're that age and you make a ton of videos, you're like, every single one of these are gold.
Absolutely.
And so then you want to show them to all your friends. Well, no, we didn't have anyone to show our videos.
I had friends.
Oh yeah, that's right. That was just me. Oops. I'm sorry. I projected that onto you, Christian.
And we had no one.
Dude.
I'm like, oh crap, that was just me. So then we started hanging out, and in fact we made a ton of videos together, and we don't have any of them now.
Oh,
they're all gone.
Unfortunate.
I feel
including
like
one where I spray painted the back of his house.
really.
Oh, I feel like I still have that video somewhere.
Who allowed that?
No
we
one
did.
We basically we were filming a fake cops TV
video.
episode.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Oh.
And me being the bad boy that I am, I was
That's right.
like, I'll
Tell
play
them
the
what you were
villain.
wearing in that video.
The bad boy you
I was
still
wearing
are.
an yeah, don't talk back to me or I'll spray paint on your house. I basically was wearing this Old Navy t-shirt and cargo shorts and like a golfer's hat backwards, and then it ended up we were trying to think of a way that I could spray paint on the back of their house to make it seem like I was a graffiti artist. And it ended up that
We had
got
hairspray.
like this hair dye, like
white
hairspray.
hairspray.
And it was supposed to be washable. And so it ends up that I pretty much go and spray paint the back of his house, like a small little tiny area of it. And then it ended up we sprayed it with water and it washed right off. And so we were like, oh, great, we're fine.
Oh,
we did a
no.
perfect
No
test.
worries. That's right.
And so then I proceed to just like spray paint so much on the back of his mom's house. And like
full
into
name.
a brick wall, dude. Like full name in white, like across the back of the house. And we were like, great, that was a perfect take. And so then we go to spray off the brick,
of course.
and it just stays.
It's legally
Man.
obligated to stay. Like if you do a small test and then after that you're confident, like it's not how it works.
No.
The law of physics have to be defied in that moment.
Straight up. Oh
Gosh,
my gosh.
man.
Which then Christian, your mother, how in the world was you? I feel like you need to explain that part because that was more terrifying for you in that moment.
I mean,
What did you say? Were you like, sit, have a seat?
The best part. Well, the best part is us trying to wash it off first without we were getting everything, and we're like, okay, it's hairspray, and we're going inside and getting shampoo. Shampoo, because somehow that's gonna be the chemical that's gonna mix with this paint that's gonna get it off.
Yeah.
No.
It works on hair.
Yeah. And that didn't work.
That's like
So,
like drink bleach to get rid of coronavirus reasoning.
yeah.
Well, I feel like
Yeah, I mean, everyone knows
That doesn't work.
I feel like being a child.
Christian, this is your Make-A-Wish.
Every single day as a kid, there's just an innate desire to, hey, what can I don't want to mess up stuff. I just want to do, but you always end up messing up something, and then you
absolutely.
spend the same energy to try to fix what you ruined, but now you can't fix it. So now you're in this weird cycle of, oh, what do you want to do? Let's do something crazy, and then you do it, and then you're like, now we got to fix it, and then you never can. You never can. But yeah, I have a child, and I'm not looking forward for that stage at all. I'm like, just crawl.
Never get
No,
it white
don't do that.
hairspray.
I mean, I
Just
think
don't give it white hairspray.
I think if you give them Google, everything's fine. But like pre-Google kids are just like having to figure stuff out.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Google.
They didn't,
Well,
you
you
can
know-
just watch. If you were watching YouTube, you wouldn't be spray painting the back of buildings. How about we'll say that?
Yeah. I
That's
feel
right.
like for us though, so like the spray paint moment, I feel like solidified Christian and I's friendship because there was this moment where he just looks at me and he's like, "It's not coming off," and I was like, "I know," and I did it, and so there's this moment where he's like, "I have to go tell my mom,"
Yeah.
and
oh my gosh.
I definitely had a moment where I was like, yeah, you go tell your mom and I'll stay out here. But then I just was like, I can't do it to him. So I look at him and I'm like, I will go with you, brother, till the end. And so we march inside, and the most confusing, still one of the, this moment I'm still confused by, because we look her straight in the face and Christian is like, hey, we were making a video and we spray painted the back of the house with hairspray. And I'm like, yeah, I did. I was right there and I sprayed on the back of your brick house. And she just like looks at us and she's like, okay, well, just keep on trying to clean it off. Oh. And we're like, okay. So we just like,
she wasn't
winning.
mad, and that was crazy.
I still don't understand it because I feel like I would be mad, definitely. Like now that I live in my own home, if some person like spray painted, even if they thought it was going to come off, I'd be like, are you kidding me right now? But for some reason she was so calm about it, and
So-
I've always appreciated that.
What were you gonna say?
Today's podcast is brought to you by Grace. And
That's what I'm saying.
Talking about brought to you by
That's it.
faith. So are you? I have this like this theory. Now that you said it, you never want a parental figure to respond too harshly, but you also don't want them to respond too nicely, because too harsh you're like they were mean, they yelled at me, and then too kind you're like, they're going to murder me in my sleep. That's what's going to happen. They were angry and they're holding it in for me. But afterwards, the worst, I'm never going to be invited over. Me, little Jonathan, is never going to be invited over after this.
Oh, me little Jonathan.
little
Also
Jonathan,
sounds
me
like what I would
little
say if I was a caveman.
Me, little
They're like, who are you? And I'm like, me little Jonathan.
We play acoustic bass. Boom, boom, boom.
Oh my word. But I feel like I'm gonna lead into a segue, since I guess this is this the Taco Boys portion? I don't know what anything is anymore. Do you? Segue, yeah.
I don't know
So-
what this is actually.
I feel like are we still in crossover mode? I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yes.
We're doing
Okay,
something.
We're in the air. We're painting it
Christian,
as it flies.
That's right. We're painting the back of this brick house right now, boys.
As the brick house flies.
That's right.
Yes, as it flies with balloons like up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Ooh.
Hey.
Don't make
Good
me feel
reference.
depressed by bringing that movie up.
Ugh, married life.
So one of the things that Christian and I, we kind of, as we went from video, making and all of that, we ended up kind of stumbling into making music. Christian, do you see this
where
segue?
you're going. Dude,
You see what I'm doing?
Well done.
Yeah.
Thank you. Shama, you don't know where we're going. PD, you might know where we're going.
Okay.
Because you and I had a conversation about something that Shama needed to hear on this
His
podcast.
Make-A-Wish.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I'll completely explain it, by the way.
Okay.
So Christian and I, we began doing this thing every now and then where a lot of times I would end up going to his house. And when I would go to his house, we would just sit down and we'd start like recording something random.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of times Christian would come up with some sort of rhythm and beat. And then he would look at me and he would just be like, just write something about this. And I would like in a matter of 10, 15 minutes, like write something so stupid. And we would record it and we'd put it together. And so I was talking with PD on the other week before we even planned this. And I sent him one of the songs that I found.
Okay.
And I've got it today.
Yeah.
And I need your reaction.
Okay. I'm ready.
And I'll explain why. So this one, Christian made it started like a slow jam, right, Christian?
Mm-hmm.
Was that what we were trying to do?
Mm-hmm.
And so it was a slow jam. And then we decided to turn it into a rap very aggressively.
Oh, yeah.
It shifts genres. And what happened was Christian looked at me. He's like, you should write this song about if Pinocchio was a gangster. And it's all of like 15 to 20 seconds long.
Wait, when did y'all make this?
This was like what, three or 4 years ago?
This was
now?
3 years ago? No way.
Was
way
it
more than
not?
that. Yeah, dude.
Oh man.
This had to be like 2014, 13.
Wow.
Oh, for a second, I
Yeah.
thought
It
y'all
was
made it a
definitely
couple
when I
months ago,
got
and I was like,
back.
y'all were just thinking about Pinocchio. A couple.
Yeah.
You just. I
This
haven't
was last
said the
week.
word Pinocchio in years.
Oh, yeah. No, this was definitely this was 14, 15, probably.
So what ended up happening is we start the song, and then I really intentionally tried to become Eminem, like really angry rapping.
You didn't.
And I never rapped.
You became Eminem.
We're sitting here with Marshall, Jonathan.
With the
Just two first names.
the Eminem of West Virginia.
Marshall
That's
Jonathan
right.
here.
He is the taco god.
Wait a
I've become a
minute.
deity.
This took a turn.
Wait a minute.
Shaman's gonna start like praying over you, Christian.
Okay. It might have been not as relevant, but I'm like, Eminem calls himself the rap god, so like,
Oh,
Jonathan,
yeah,
it would just make
yeah.
sense if he would be like,
All right,
Go
so
on,
Shama,
sorry.
Yes.
I want you to prepare yourself for the song that we like to call "Real Boy." All right,
That's right.
I'm ready.
gosh.
Here, we're ready. We haven't shown this on our podcast either, so
Okay.
well, I guess we are now. Anyway, here we go. We're off. Oh, let's see. Is it playing?
Yes.
know about me. I don't. Who am I? Well, I'll tell you. Tell me. I'm a real boy. I'm a real boy. That's who I am. It's Pinocchio, y'all. You better don't know.
My name is Pinocchio, you don't know about me. My heart is pure gold, and my body is a tree. I pull it straight now, I'm Average Geppetto, who's a real boy animal, as me and your left to go.
We're here with deranged
And there we
Pinocchio.
What?
So
I.
Oh, gosh.
Yes.
how does it make you feel? I'm writing down with a notepad.
My
currently.
eyes got real big. Man, I feel like now I want a whole album.
Yeah.
I want
Oh,
Pinocchio alter ego, Lil Pinocchio. I don't know. I feel like Pinocchio could be part of the Migos or something.
Hey, do you want to play the other one as well? Because I could play it out of the Roadcaster because I have it in our text.
Ooh. So Christian and I were saving that one for
Oh.
a project that we're working on.
Okay,
We've
okay.
had one on the back burner, and we had the discussion. We were like, we would want to show it, but people are gonna have to wait.
Yeah,
They're gonna have to wait it
it'll
out.
blow their minds a little too much.
Is this about the
now.
seven dwarves? What do we got going on here?
yeah, that's the follow up.
Why did I send you a song from the Jonestown Choir at some point?
She's like obsessed with that song.
What?
Was this from
Yeah.
What's Special or whatever?
I don't know.
You sent that to me at one point. And I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna listen to it.
It was real creepy.
Yeah. Oh man.
Well,
Gosh.
now, so we've reached like a marker, and does that mean that now church story starts, or
Yeah. Well, what is a
Now it's time for church.
Well, you know,
church
since,
story? The
since,
part of the show where Petey and Shama
Oh my God.
tell a church story.
I was just gonna say, since Jonathan is old news at this point on church stories, why don't we have a Christian tell some church stories?
ooh,
We've heard of. I mean, honestly, I don't understand how this podcast has been relevant the past couple months. Nobody's gone to church. We've also talked to people who haven't been to church, but it's still called Church Stories. So
And what does it say about the show that
we're in a church.
that my two favorite episodes are about poop stories, and one of those belongs to
Oh my
Jonathan.
gosh.
That's because, from a branding standpoint, if this podcast was about poop stories, nobody would still be with
But
us.
it's not even just
That's
poop.
right.
Weaving the poop stories in the church stories.
It's a specific genre of poop story, which is a church camp poop story.
Yeah.
So both of them are.
Guys, we need emails. Email. This is what it's all about,
Oh
really.
my-
Email us about church camp poop stories. This is our new genre.
Christian, do you have any church like poop stories? I know that sounds weird, but like Christian also worked at a summer camp multiple years. And did you ever wait, I took over the church stories. You asking that question. It's not my turn.
Well, Christian, you worked at a church camp for several years. Do you
Wow,
happen to
how
have
did you know
any?
that? You guys really do your research.
On the real though, do you have any church camp? We've gotten some church camp stories here too. Some emails. I guess camp is just on people's minds. Do you have anything camp related on your mind?
Anything camp related on my mind? It's been a while, to be honest. So,
It's been 84 years.
yeah, I mean, it really has.
Well, just the church story in general, man. It doesn't have to be a camp story. We don't have to milk
Yeah,
a
it doesn't
camp
have to be
story
a
out of
poop or camp. It's fine.
you. Yeah, no. We're gonna be disappointed, but it's fine.
Yeah, that's fine.
What if that's how we talk to every guest who came on? It's like, you can talk about poop or you don't have to. It's okay.
That's it.
It's fine. No, it's fine. Seriously, we don't want to like push you, but do what you have to do. No, but yeah, seriously.
I don't. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't right now. I think back to more of like when me and Jonathan would do like videos for church, to be honest, that I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's talked about the one where we made him dress up
Wait, no, we haven't
as a
talked
female opera singer
No, that was Jake,
along
dude.
with Jake. Oh, was it not you?
No,
I got so
But
confused.
now you have to tell that whole story though.
I don't even know. So we would do these videos for our church because we would have different theme nights in the youth department, and we were going to have a talent night. So it's like, hey, everybody, come to church and show us your talents. And we figured the best way
That
to
sounded creepy.
advertise this is show us your
A
talents.
talent night. No, come in. No, show us your talent. We, the church employees, want to see your talent. Come out tonight. What's up?
Show us your talents, Christian.
Show us your talent, sweetheart. I'm sorry. This got very. I'm sorry. That got very creepy.
Yeah.
Y'all were.
okay.
This
I'm
was a
not the one
wholesome
who
story.
made it creepy.
This was a wholesome story.
Like
It
it's
is.
like a church executive who's like, you gotta have talent, or the Lord won't use you.
So you're just flicking
That's
a cigarette.
right.
You gotta have talent, sweetheart.
They
The
literally
talent.
took
What
the
does God
parable of
want with you if
talents.
you
Remember
can't
the
sing?
way
man who
too
had
far.
talent and he hit it, and then another guy. You know the story. You know the
right.
story.
If you can't multiply your talents, you're useless. Get out of here.
He uses the God and to me. Get at it. Scram. Who says scram? Who says scram now?
Yikes!
This guy. This guy says scram.
Yeah, beat it, bozo.
Skedaddle.
Beat it, bozo.
You know how you talk to your church.
Yeah, you know.
And this
You know how to
scenario, in my head, he just called a 4-year-old girl
Gosh.
bozo or something like
Yeah.
that. Beat it, bozo.
What are you gonna do? Wave
How old are your
flags?
high schoolers? We have a very extensive, inclusive age range in our church youth department.
But so you're at talent night.
No, this is before talent night.
This is
So
before
this was
talent
like to advertise for talent night.
Okay.
So me and Jonathan and our good friend Jake, who's been on our podcast once before, sat down and just like brainstormed about how are we going to do this, and then we're like, got it, America's Got Talent, or I think at this point it was Britain's Got Talent.
Yes.
I
Yeah, it
don't-
was.
Hey,
And-
guys, spin-off.
Go on.
America's God Talent.
That's right.
We missed that one.
Welcome back to
my
America's
goodness.
God Talent. It's your boy TD Jakes,
Chrissy
the
T,
host.
come on.
It's John Christ. I'm back.
What's up? It's John Christ. I'm back. You thought my career
my
wouldn't survive,
But it did.
But it did.
but I'm the white Nick Cannon of America's God Talent. I'm just kidding. So y'all are making a promo.
That's right. Yeah. And at this point, we were getting really excited because I had just been given a green screen for Christmas. So we were like, the limitless possibilities of videography are just,
And-
sky's the limit.
and the rules-
Or rather, green screen's the
The
limit.
rules of being a new videographer is whatever tool you have, you use
right.
that tool every single time until you get a new tool.
That's right. Absolutely.
If you just discovered like a new effect, you've got to use that effect
That's right,
every
man.
time you edit or touch a camera for the rest
Dude,
of
I
your
slept
life.
with that green screen. That was my blanket.
Dem's the rules. Like that's all I'm saying.
He set a
Completely like
camera
that.
up like all the time, and he just when he was asleep at night, he used the green screen as a
Yeah.
blanket, and then he'd
right.
wake up, he'd grab the footage from the night before, and he'd put it in the software, and he would green screen it out just to see it.
It's just
one
Christian
more time.
at a beach filming behind a green
That's
screen. He's
right.
like, no, I'm gonna
My
put a
head.
beach in post. You're like, Christian, no.
We're at the beach.
But we're at the but I can also put a beach in post. But why? It's the
it'll
rules.
look
I
like
have
we're
a
at
green
the
screen.
beach.
I got it. I'm sorry. The videographer gods have really. I don't want to be at odds with
Shine
them.
down upon me.
That's right.
I just got the star transition. I gotta use the star transition
That's
every
right.
clip between every clip for the rest of my life.
Oh, great.
So you're using the green
Oh my
screen.
gosh. Oh, yes. That's right. And I think at this point we had decided to go with the one where it was the guy with the long curly hair who
I
everyone
still remember
thought
their
he couldn't
names.
see. Go ahead, please.
Scarlett and Jonathan. We chose it because my name is Jonathan. And
That's
because
right.
we could make the judges
Because
seem like
Simon
they're talking
Cowell
to me.
actually said Jonathan. That was why we did that. Oh my gosh.
Oh,
That's right. We were really like, it was continuity was important to us back then.
And green screens. They were
That's
also
right. Continuity and green screens. There's your title card, Jonathan.
yeah. Ooh, boy, that was close. I was wondering what it was going to be. Yeah.
Go ahead, John.
Well, I was going to say, like, I just remember one of the biggest problems we had was we couldn't figure out the lighting on a green screen because you bought a green or you got a green screen, but obviously didn't get any lighting to help with it.
yeah.
So we're like
those things.
we're like outside with the green screen like clamped to his garage door.
Yes. It's like buying a toy and then realizing you need batteries with it. They're like, oh, by the way, we didn't give you
It's like
batteries.
I gotta go back to town and get the batteries.
Person who has acquired quite a bit of gear, a lot of film gear. At this point, I'm just working to support my gear buying habit. Like, it's not even like you buy a thing, then you need a thing to clamp that thing to the thing that you already bought.
Yes.
So then from then on out, dude, I mean, it's an addiction. It's a slippery slope.
My strange addiction.
There should be Gearhead Anonymouses where we just meet in a church and eat stale donuts and talk about, yeah, so I just bought 3 Shure SM7Bs during a recession.
My name is Shama Smith, and I have a problem.
Shama Smith is.
And then
yeah,
I was
you
on-
wouldn't be famous if your name was Shama Smith.
Yeah, I know. Dude, if my name was anything besides Shama, nobody would care about me.
Yeah. You would have gotten like 2 streams on the VeggieTales remix.
Have you ever heard of this dude, Jim? Jim Smith? He's got the VeggieTales song?
Like, I know Jim.
So
He's a
y'all are
goddamn roadie, does
outside.
all that
Y'all are clamping the green screen to the garage.
That's right.
As just as any upcoming videographer would.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we just did we have you in a wig, Jonathan? I can't remember.
No, because
No. Okay.
I just remember that Jake was in the wig.
Yeah. Jake is this
Poor
he was
Jake.
this football player. So it was very, I guess we thought it was comedic / ironic if he would be the one that played the female character of this part.
And he was the only one of our friends who could grow a beard, by the way, in high school.
It's true.
So him in a wig as a woman.
It's just, yeah. And so we filmed the whole video. We put it together. And I would say probably within the next Sunday or 2, we played it for the entire youth group
Gosh.
of Jonathan just yelling this opera song.
No, I was
Wait, so it was green lighted
ahead,
by the
Petey.
church to play?
green lighted by the youth ministry.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
don't
we
even
definitely
know-
did.
Did they ever like pre-screen our video?
No, they didn't.
We just plugged them in and sent them.
So we had like a monopoly on it is basically what happened.
It's
Christian and
kinda
I, we like did the music, we volunteered for everything. And so it was basically, we would walk in with a laptop and be like, hey, Alan, our youth pastor, we made this video, so we're going to play it. Got it?
He's like, whatever you say.
They were
There
like,
is no
"Capiche?"
way that they would have let me do that when I was in youth group.
Oh yeah.
Play
Yeah.
something
Well, I
without
think-
screening it.
Oh, I mean,
They definitely knew like we weren't going to do anything like sketchy or anything. Like they knew we
Oh,
were
it was
going
a
to keep it
sketch
clean.
alright.
Well, so
But it was
There was
there's
a
not-
sketch,
I
but not
don't
a sketchy
know.
sketch.
for
Exactly.
there's something about youth groups where people be like, well, it's clean. But then like it's like it's never bad, but it's just never good. Like anytime
Yeah.
something's out of pocket, you're like, it's not, it wasn't terrible, but it just was out of pocket. That's the only way to describe it. Like I feel like a lot of videos where people show in youth ministry, they're like, oh, I want to show you this awesome video. And then you show it and you're like, that's okay. Or then like the suggested videos afterwards. Do you remember if somebody played something on YouTube?
Yeah.
Then the suggested videos. is just like softcore porn, and then like nobody ever cancels it out in time. You never download the video.
Yeah, it's like that autoplay that YouTube starts.
It's always up for another like 5 minutes,
dude,
and
I
it's
just had a
distracting.
flashback where this exact thing. Yeah, like I was listening.
It's
to,
always.
I was listening to heavy metal music on the church computer at one point, and then there was a thumbnail of a person's butt. I guess it was like at a concert where somebody like mooned the camera.
Hey, look, I'm telling you, man. YouTube at a church
every time.
It doesn't people will be like, we just want to play Reach Records and Lecrae songs. I don't know why or how. From YouTube, there's always I don't know,
dude. Peppa Pig shanking somebody is gonna come up in the suggested videos.
Yeah.
It's the same principle of like whenever you're watching something and your parents walk in,
always
immediately they'll start cussing. Doesn't
Whatever
matter
happens,
what you were watching.
Yeah.
You could have been watching Veggie Tales, and
Right.
the next thing
Then
you
they
know,
walk
they're going to
in.
be dropping expletives. And you're like, what?
You're like,
Dude.
Larry, why, Larry?
My siblings, my brother and I, anytime we watched movies, we lived in a 2-story house when we lived in Africa, and the upstairs, like the common area, was our classroom, and also we would set up a projector in there and watch movies. And after we knew that Murphy's Law was the rules were that whatever bad part in the movie had to come up when our parents walked either up the stairs or out of their room, we just always had a finger on the skip button on the remote at all times. So it didn't matter, dude. I don't care what was happening. There could just be people just galloping or on horses. We would just skip ahead. Just skip ahead. We're like, we don't, no chances.
What happened when I would watch wrestling is inevitably, if my mother ever walked through, it would be the women wrestling.
Yeah, you're like,
She'd
Yeah.
be complaining about what they're wearing.
now I'm a perv.
Then I was
can't
always like,
believe
hey,
you watched this. I can't believe it.
You're like,
my argument was always the men are wearing just as little.
If not less.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's fine.
oh man.
Your argument is valid, and I agree with you. Now.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
My question is just whenever you skip the movies, how many movies have you just been confused by?
Oh no.
Like, did you ever go back and watch it, or did you just keep going?
There was a thing. My mom would always do this thing to where if she walked in on a movie, and this was back when DVDs, so we'd always say the CD, the DVD skipping. It's got scratches on it. Dude, we were terrible.
That's
Can't-
brand
you
new.
can't
That was
do
right
that.
out of the package.
You could probably be like, oh no, it's buffering. Oh no, it's loading. The internet's bad.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Oh
so
my
we'd
gosh.
always skip ahead on the DVDs.
Yeah,
But then we'd always rewind. My mom would always, she'd walk by and then she would stare at the screen for, a few minutes and then keep on going. So once we knew that, we were like, we just got to skip ahead to the most neutral part of the movie. And then, wait till she finished, until she walked by, and then rewind it, hoping that we didn't spoil the movies for ourselves, which happened a lot of times.
Skips forward. Dumbledore dies.
Gosh.
No!
Guys,
believe-
I totally. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I
Go
want
ahead.
you to finish.
Oh, I was done.
This just reminded me of a situation that I had come up recently, like in the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay. Where it's just pretty much everything that you don't want to happen happens. And it just reminded me of it. And I know you guys will appreciate it. So, our buddy Taylor Ransom, y'all
Yes.
just had him on here. So the other week, he posted like these pictures of himself on his page, and someone commented and said, hey, Grady from Sunny with a Chance is looking fantastic. Did y'all see that comment?
No.
Okay. So I saw that comment the other week, and I was like, Grady from Sunny with a Chance? I don't even remember what Grady looks like. So I Google search on my phone Grady from Sunny with a Chance, and I go to Google Images, and I see Grady, and I'm like, oh, yeah, there he is. Okay. I exited out, leave my phone. So later, a few minutes later, my wife is like, hey, Jonathan, can I use your phone to look something up real quick? And I was like, of course, wife. And so she picks my phone up, and then she just gives me this confused look of like, what is going on? And she looks at me, she's like, why are there just pictures of Grady from Sunny with a Chance on here? And I was like, what? It was this guy on the internet that I know, but it reminded me of that, and I felt like I wanted to tell you of it. So it's a public confession.
Oh my gosh, man, dude. Yeah, yes, the internet's is a crazy place.
That's an understatement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Christian, I do remember that I just had this memory that the video that we originally made outside with the garage was the one where Jake was the baton twirler. And then the Scarlett and Jonathan one was where Jake had the wig on, and we filmed it in your brother's bedroom because he had those like lights. So there were 2 videos, and I just realized we got them mixed up. So please forgive us.
Are you sure we didn't use the green screen on that one though?
We did. We used the green screen, but we set it up downstairs in your brother's room because he had those like lights that you could point in different directions in the room. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes,
But
I lived in that room.
I just don't. Oh, yeah, that's right. I just don't. I guess I never really thought about it until you guys brought it up. How weird it is that we just played whatever video we made whenever we wanted for the youth group, for the entire youth group, with no screening. Like we never showed anybody.
So I feel like as a former youth pastor, I always just erred on the side of caution.
Yes,
just all the time. And I mean, it was at a point, Petey, you remember, like if a student wanted to say something on the microphone, like if they wanted, I'd be like, well, we can talk about it, bud. And then you can, because remember, we were at a conference one time where this student wanted to say something, like on stage. They always have to say it on stage.
That was so funny because he didn't get a chance because worship was going on, and he just stood. He wasn't part of the worship team.
Not part of the worship. We were at a conference. We weren't even at our home church. We're at a conference
in the congregation. He gets on stage, and we're like, "What is he doing?" And then he just kind of paces for about 20 minutes until he gets the opportunity to grab the microphone.
Yeah,
on stage.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then did he get to talk? Oh yeah. So the thing is, it's never deep. It's never deep.
It was just like a really surface level observation about the song lyrics.
Like, he's like, young people, like y'all, like I don't think y'all understand how good God is. Isn't God good? Like, think about it. You're breathing right now. Like, we're all walking. Like, God is so good. And that's always the cop out too. Anytime somebody's like lost on stage at a church or at a church event, they just stress how good God is. Worship leaders are notorious. Like, isn't God awesome? Isn't God like so? Like, think church. Like, how many of y'all drove here? Raise
like
your
messing
hands.
with
You're
the
like,
guitar plug.
We get it. But yeah.
Shut up, we get it.
We know. Or it's like I'm just gonna read the super simple passage, and I know we've heard it a million times. John 3:16. What could do? You're like, all right, cool. I'm sorry.
Why don't you do it like that?
What?
Why don't you do church announcements like that?
Well, I just want to read John 3:16. Isn't God? For God so loved the world, He gave His only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in Him shall not perish, but have. I'm sorry,
but celebrate good times in eternity.
That's the best I've ever queued up.
I feel like that would be like the most amazing thing I've ever witnessed if that started happening. I don't know if I think part of me would be like almost mad, but then part of me would also be like, what, I've got to stay and see what happens.
Well,
like,
dude,
if this is just the announcements, what's gonna happen in the sermon?
There was one time that a pastor had it queued up that he would say something, and then the sound guy would play Meghan Trainor's "No" song. And I remember,
oh my word!
Is this?
Yeah.
Okay. Was this during a Wednesday night service?
No, it was Sunday.
Really?
Yeah.
Was I there?
No.
Oh, thank God.
This is post
Was I there?
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Can't say post five. Yeah. Okay.
Tell us more.
Yeah.
Tell
This
us
is after they gave you the. Yeah, they gave you the boot.
This is after Shama got canceled after 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Yikes.
1 season is 1 month in youth ministry.
Hey, bro, I got like 6 seasons.
Oh, 6 seasons? I thought it was 3 seasons.
And a movie?
In a movie. Oh,
No.
community reference.
Is Chevy Chase going to be there?
No, he won't be there.
Dun, dun.
Instead, we get the guy from Breaking Bad.
He had "No" by Megan Trainor queued up in the
Yeah.
back. So every time he said something,
Every time he said some like certain thing, he would play Megan Trainor.
What? How does the song go again?
Oh
I
my
don't-
goodness.
Like, my name is no, like something
No.
like that.
Dude, there's a look, and I'm trying to be careful because y'all two work for a church, correct?
Jonathan
I do.
does.
Okay.
We're inside the church right
well,
now.
anyways,
I'm the outcast.
Between PD and Christian and I, there's a certain level of creativity that happens at a church that needs to stay.
Go on.
In the church.
Oh, gracious.
Just a certain caliber of creativity where I'm like, that needs
Oh,
to
my word.
remain. But then they're like, put it up on Facebook. Let's have all the church employees share it. And you're like, no, thank you. No, thank you. It was funny to your pocket of people.
And then they ask you to share it, and you play "No" by Megan Trainor.
Yeah, and you're down, down.
And they're like, that's
Gotcha.
genius.
I pulled a U on you. Man.
I always say like that. We had like this discussion the other week in like some sort of meeting at the church where we've had to do so much video recently,
Yeah.
but we were talking about like our like annoyance of how there've been a lot of churches that it seems like they just really want to go viral. Like
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
just like their goal. They're like, if we go viral, our tithes will go up 5,000%.
Hey.
You know? And I'm like,
Wow.
what? You can't
Guys?
just make yourself go viral.
Look, I'm a guy who has videos with millions of views. I eat a lot. I drive a 2007 Prius, and me and my wife eat a lot of leftovers. So numbers don't really mean
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
But it's the hustle. I'm still in the hustle, though.
I mean, I have a tweet
Ooh.
that's been
It's
posted
the
by
hustle.
pages with millions of followers, like yesterday. And guess how many
Yeah.
followers I get out of that?
How
like
many?
5.
Wow.
You did it.
People equate numbers to a success, and people. Yeah, I was talking.
Yeah.
Were we on the podcast where I was talking about like a lot of churches have this idea of like, so us like personally, like among our team, we want to create something like fresh and new. And that's what we're kind of always writing and striving to do. And even sometimes even if we have an idea of something that's already been done before, we're like, okay, what can we do different? Or do we even want to do it at all? But then I feel like a lot of churches just have this like, let's parody. Like that's the whole like parody culture kind of starts in churches where people be like, oh, we got to do what's his name just did, Can't Stop That Feeling. Let's do the Can't Stop the Holy Spirit. It's in my bones. You know what I mean? It's like this. It's like people who aren't creative just mirror whatever is happening and then go that, but God.
Yeah.
That right there, but Chris Church, and it just doesn't work. It's so cringy.
Whenever we've done like a video, so like our main thing is we always say like, okay, is there an actual purpose behind this
Yeah.
video, or is it just
Question one.
to try to like is there an actual reason? So like the other week we did one and it took all of maybe 15 minutes to film it and then put it together. Like we just shot it and threw it together, where basically it was my pastor and we just made him do every like job in the church. Like he was running soundboard and then it like pans and you see him like give a thumbs up from the platform with a guitar.
Yeah.
And like then he starts trying to lead worship and stuff. And so like we did that, but the whole point of it, like at the end, he says like, hey, a church isn't just a pastor. Like a pastor isn't just the church.
Yeah.
We need the
Dude,
congregation.
I saw that video.
here.
I love that though.
Oh,
Because he like let himself in the door and then he like, I love
Yeah.
that.
So
I love
like
that.
our thing is we had a blast making it and we were just like, it has a valid point to it because we made it for just our group of people.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we miss having you here,
Right.
and it's not church without you guys. Like a pastor isn't the church by himself. And it was just that kind of stuff. I feel like I really appreciate, at least like the other staff on at the church and stuff, like the parody culture annoys every single one of us there.
Yeah.
We're like, we cannot do it. We can't fall prey to it.
And I think like one cool thing, which a part of me thinks of it as like a hindrance, but I also know it's like checks and balances. Where PD and I are always pitching stuff to each other. I just pitched something to PD yesterday. I called him. You know how confident you have to be to call somebody in 2020 where you call somebody up with an idea and you're like, I have an idea. And I described it for like 15 minutes and he was like, nah, I don't think that's going to work. And you know what? Am I a little heartbroken? Yes. But then I know, hey, it's for the best. Like PD wouldn't lead me astray.
I was like, hey, you can do it.
Christian is my guy for like when I send him stuff. Like at least like if I send Christian a song or something that I've worked on, I know that he'll tell me exactly what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Or at least I hope so, right, Christian?
Of course.
What if he's like, to be honest, man?
Yeah, what if it just like all of a sudden he just
It's like
just all of a
the
sudden released
intervention.
all of it.
Yeah. Hey,
Truth and
oh,
love, okay? That's how I try to handle it.
You know the
truth
most
and love, you suck. What? Wait a minute.
I love you, but you're the worst.
I need to wait until the story until like I have both of the clips for it. But the most mad that I ever got sending something to somebody was when I came up with what I thought was this cool piano melody, and then I sent it to my friend, and he goes, "You just ripped off Donkey Kong."
Oh my
Oh
gosh.
yeah, because you said that to me afterwards too. You're like, Thomas told me that I just ripped off Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what part of your creative brain was like, hey, I'm just gonna pepper in Donkey Kong right here?
Christian,
You
you
like
told
that?
me one time that Christian, you told me one time that one of mine sounded like Banjo Kazooie music. Do you remember that?
No.
Hey,
I
you-
see it meant nothing to you.
if you learn anything from these podcasts,
That's right.
just take away that you need people in your life who will be honest with you, so you're not spitting
absolutely.
whack tracks in the studio, or you're not making
And
dumb
that way you end up
ideas.
with stuff like
Well, especially now because like I don't know. There's a thing about people see funny videos online. Like I'm not gonna name, but there are people in my life, older people who are like, dude, you need to. Like a lady was telling me the other couple months ago, she was like, have you been seeing all these COVID-19 videos on Facebook? You need to make you one of them. But at the time, I was in this headspace of like, I just lost a lot of work. I know people who've lost work, and people are dying. And I was like, nah, not right. No,
Yeah.
not now, not ever, not from me.
So all we can do is blow on it.
Yeah.
I'm like, the best COVID content has been made by my man Kenneth Copeland.
Copeland.
Hey, y'all are really missing out with not being able to see us. Y'all, B and P are playing playing the keys like a classically trained pianist, and it's a dream come true here, guys. We should have never got money.
What this means is, since we can't see you in person this time, the next time one of these happens, we just have to do it in person.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One of us has to travel. One group of us.
Hey,
Just one of us.
we're gonna make the trek. We're gonna make the trek up to Danville at some point in time.
Do it. Or here's what we can do. Christian can like ship me down there to you.
Yes.
And Shama, you can ship PD all the way up here to Christian.
Okay.
So it'll be
And
like co-host swap.
it'll be like wife swap,
Host
except it'll
swap.
yeah.
Host
Yeah.
swap. Yeah.
Well, you're gonna be the dad to a really cool kid named Ezra,
Oh,
Who poops in the car while you're driving? So come on down.
Wait, so I have to take your whole life now? Not just the
Yeah,
That's how
dude.
it works.
I'm sorry. You're gonna have to pick your hair out. You're gonna have to wear New Balances.
PD,
So
if
I
we
take
do this
Christian's
before
life.
June, you have
Yeah.
to move.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, and then you gotta set up the you gotta try to break into a church to get to your podcast studio.
Wait, so if
Yeah.
we're trading wives,
Yeah.
is this wife swap?
No. This is pod.
Yeah.
pod this is pod host
It's, you ready?
swap.
It's life swap.
Life
Life
swap.
swap. But wait,
Hey.
with wife swap, weren't they swapping the whole life? Never mind. I've gone too deep into this.
That show was so contrived.
Yeah. Was it?
Wasn't
What's
it?
going on?
I don't know. It was
man.
like all reality TV show in 2005.
Yeah.
You know.
They also had shows like Eliminate on MTV and stuff. They had whack stuff going on, man.
There's a lot going on in TLC
Hey.
back then.
This has been a great podcast, though. This has been
Yeah,
the
great
Chex Mix
episode
of
of-
podcasts. Listeners, I hope you
It's
got
like,
what
I
you
love
liked.
this episode of Taco Boys.
Taco Boy stories.
Yeah, Taco Stories.
Church
I
Taco
don't
Boy
know
stories.
Yeah,
Church Taco Stories Boys.
Church Boys.
Yes.
Yeah, Church Boy Taco Stories.
Yes, I think so. Is that what y'all
Something.
decided on?
We
I
didn't
don't
decide
know.
on anything.
What was the group chat
We
name?
just flew in. What was it? I just named it that out of a feeling of a need to name it. I named it Church Taco Story
And
Boys.
that need was met. Can I just? Hey, Jonathan, wish granted. All right. Oh man, how do y'all normally end Taco Boys?
We scatted out.
Y'all scat it? Are you talking about scatting or scatting? My bad.
Yeah, like legitimately a scat. Like Christian usually is like and I like I just tell people. Basically, I just try to get through whatever we try to tell people while trying not to laugh while
Yeah.
Christian is scatting.
Well,
And how do y'all end y'all's
so
podcast?
we end with praise reports. So why don't we do this? We'll scat. And y'all will
Why don't
y'all
do
y'all,
praise
y'all do
reports?
praise reports, and then y'all will scat for us, and then
right,
we'll do
all right.
praise reports.
Bum,
All right.
bum, bum,
Okay.
bum,
Praise
bum,
report
bum,
from me.
bum,
You know, I'm moving, and we
bum,
got to do this
bum,
crossover
bum,
episode, which was a fun
bum,
time.
bum,
And you know,
bum,
just life is
bum,
moving.
bum,
I haven't gotten the virus or
bum,
anything.
bum,
So,
bum,
Christian,
bum,
what is your
bum,
praise
bum,
report?
bum,
Life is going well. Let me just say, work has started up again for me, and we've all received a little bonus for working through these hard times. So you know, that helps one feel a little bit better. And my family's doing real well right now. So that's a lot of praise right there.
Are y'all up?
I loved how one of you was like the bass.
Yeah, that was PD. PD was the bass. And I was the filler. Oh, what's your praise report, PD?
I think you were the lead, not the filler. It's
Ah,
not
sorry,
like,
sorry.
hey, here's Flea and the filler guitarist on the Red Hot Chili Peppers. My praise report is that we got to do the most ambitious crossover
We did.
in history.
I feel like this is the best intro and ending our podcast has ever had.
Yeah.
That's your praise report?
Yes, that's my praise report.
There is Shama.
My praise report is, gosh, what is my praise report, man?
You have a family.
I just ordered some new plain T-shirts from Uniqlo, and I'm very excited about those to come in. I've been YouTubing soft quality plain T-shirts because I'm a plain tea guy, and I just found some online and I ordered them, and they were discounted when I found them, and they should be coming in sometime next week.
Coming in soon. Shipping real fast.
This has been Church Taco Stories, boys.
Yes.
Say what's granted. Say what's granted. No.
Wish granted.
This
Wish
has been
granted,
Church
everybody.
Stories Taco Boys.
Wish granted.
I'm just kidding. Hey, I love that y'all end with scatting. I'm so jealous that we're not going to have that. We're only going to have that for this episode alone.
That's right. Well, we also at the very end do goodbye and then harmonize it as we go up as the very last thing.
Oh, are we ready?
Crud.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
here we go.
Okay, okay.
Here we go.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Well,
Oh man.
Hey,
What an ambitious episode.
this is very ambitious. We did it though.